Now, I'm quite glad you've gone out of the way to click on this video because this is important business. It would be quite easy for me to stand here and say that every single driver's goal of 2024 is to win races.
Wins from pole!
Win the championship, score podiums, win everything there is. Walk out of the season with eternal glory. Walk out of the season looking like an absolute champ. But we know that that can only happen to one person, and one person only. Only one person can take that driver's trophy home. And realistically, we know who that is. Yeah, we do. Verstappen enters the chat. That's enough of that. Or maybe it won't be Verstappen. There's a championship brewing up. Leclerc, Norris, they're in contention as well. If you want that to happen and not have a boring season, I think you should subscribe and like. Otherwise, guess what? It won't happen. Anyways, I'm moving swiftly on. Every Formula 1 driver at the moment is at a different stage of their career. Whether they're a rookie, whether they're a seasoned veteran, or whether they're under threat of losing their seat, or under threat of potentially not securing a championship. With that quite intense and useless build-up out of the way, this is what every driver needs to accomplish in 2024. Otherwise, who knows what might happen? The Earth, the core might shatter into two pieces, and destruction may occur. Oh dear, it's the Flying Dutchman, Max Verstappen. It seems like Red Bull over the last couple races and potentially even the season, they've been struggling in certain areas. Christian Horner, what has he been up to? And Helmut Marko as well. It doesn't help that Adrian Newey is leaving, and it also doesn't help that, yes, they've been struggling and their dominance hasn't continued from 2023 as much as they probably would have hoped. So with that said, with the potential championship brewing up, not just between two cars like we had in 2021, luckily Max Verstappen managed to clutch that.
And it's going down!
The one and singular goal that Max Verstappen has this season is to win that championship. If that doesn't happen, that is probably a failed season for Red Bull, a failed season for Max Verstappen, and then who knows, will he want to stay in Formula 1 again for another season, or will he just get bored of it in general? I feel like if Red Bull and Max Verstappen don't win the championship, that would be something wrong, a big wrong thing in the motorsporting world at the moment. And that is his main goal for the season and the only thing that's probably on his mind, winning that thing. Or else his dad might start storming into every single practice session, qualifying session, race session, if he doesn't perform well, and start beating the living daylight out of him. Oh, you think that's a joke? Trust me, it's not.
My dad did that once to a mechanic with a fork.
The teammate terrorist, Esteban Ocon. With the many past dramatic moments that have happened in Esteban Ocon's career in Formula 1. Yay! Not the good moments. Plus a sprinkle of unfortunate events with his teammates in 23 and 24, I think Esteban Ocon's main goal for the season is not creating any more drama with his teammate. Adding more drama, adding more tension to what's been happening in the Alpine team, that isn't something that is needed at the moment. Plus, it isn't needed for his career. Because say he starts bullying the absolute crap out of Pierre Gasly, just like he tried to do with Alonso and just like he did with Sergio Perez, that number one, won't help the team score points and move up in the field, and it won't help his career. Because if he gets a bigger label on himself than say, Gucci or Balenciaga, but not that type of label. I'm talking about a label of a driver that can't be trusted with their teammate. A driver that isn't good to their teammate. No team on the field will want to pick him up. Therefore, he is hindering his own Formula 1 career, jeopardizing everything that he's built up. And that wouldn't be something that is needed. Plus, Alpine are not even a midfield car. They are an awful car this year. He should just stick to sticking four wheels on the track, not making contact with anyone, especially his teammates, and trying to push that team forward, even though you're getting dropped. Does he deserve a seat, Logan Sargeant? There was rumors a couple weeks ago that, hey, Kimi Antonelli potentially might replace Logan Sargeant in Imola. Imola! Not just at the end of the season, not just in the summer break, but in Imola. Now, that didn't happen, but there's only one way to stop all of these rumors floating around of, does Logan Sargeant deserve a seat? Does Logan Sargeant actually deserve to be in Formula 1 in the first place? Only one way. And to put it in the simplest terms possible, don't be Logan Sargeant. But in a slightly more complex way and a longered out version using a couple more words, get closer to Alex Albon in qualifying and in the race, because last year the gap was 9/10. Bring that down a bit. Like, come on. Score more points in the car and don't crash out as much. You have kind of worked on the not crashing out as much, and I guess you can't really score points in that Williams because your car is so much worse than Alex Albon's. But once you get the upgrades that Alex Albon has, you probably should be trying to match him and trying to get closer and closer and closer. And then who knows, maybe you actually might get another seat. Maybe the perception of you by everyone is going to flip, cogs are going to switch, and maybe you'll be deemed as an alright, good driver. But that will only happen if you do those 3 things. Else we will all remember you as the Logan Sargeant, the guy who crashes out all of the time. The guy who replaced Nicholas Latifi. Nicholas Latifi was bad, and you were even worse. The Australian wonder kid, Oscar Piastri.
His first win in Formula 1 for Oscar Piastri.
A rookie winning a sprint race in their first ever year? Wow, that is quite impressive. Not as impressive as Hamilton winning a race in his 6th ever race, but still. Oscar Piastri, over the year and a half that he's been teammates with Lando Norris, been in McLaren, he's been doing a pretty good job, let's not lie. Better job than Daniel Ricciardo ever could in that McLaren. And now that Lando Norris has finally won a race in a McLaren and their car is actually competitive, I think it's about time that Oscar Piastri actually does some bits as well. I think it's about time. This year, his main goal should be winning a race. He potentially might have won in Monaco if he hooked that lap up in qualifying, but that didn't happen. And honestly, he's been getting more and more consistent, more and more equal to Lando Norris, and potentially someone that's better, sometimes maybe a smidge worse. But podiums with him are something that are getting more and more consistent, and I think a race win is probably something that is necessary at the moment for him. Because let's be real, McLaren are probably putting all of their eggs in Lando Norris' basket if a championship was to actually come out of it. And Oscar Piastri, hey, just win a race. That will be a success for you. It's your 2nd year in Formula 1. I think a race win would be a big statement for you. A washed 7-time world champion? Never heard that one before. I'm going to be honest, there's nothing that Lewis Hamilton really needs to accomplish in 2024. He's already signed a contract with Ferrari. They're not just going to rip it in half if he does bad this year. Because let's be real, he's not trying as much, doesn't really care about Mercedes anymore. Their little relationship has broken apart. And, does he really care? No. The car can not even, maybe potentially barely score podiums, so a win is out of the cards. Maybe your goal should be to score a podium this year. Continue that record of scoring a podium every single year. Guess that would be cool, but there's not much for you to accomplish in 2024. Nothing. Literally niche. George Russell, the walking meme.
So chic. In vogue. Scandalous.
No, like genuinely, he is a walking meme everywhere he goes. But unlike certain weird people that like meme themselves, George Russell actually has a talent. And that talent is being a good Formula 1 driver, a race winner.
Yes, yes, yes!
And unlike Lewis Hamilton, who really doesn't have to accomplish anything this year, I think George Russell has to accomplish boat tons this year. Number 1, he has to assert his dominance in Mercedes. Say another driver steps in next year, he has to be at the forefront of Mercedes. He has to be that primary driver. He has to prove himself this year that, hey, I am better than Lewis Hamilton. I am the primary driver of the team. Because say some other driver steps into the team and they're like, hey, can I be primary driver? Toto Wolff might be like, yeah, sure, we'll give you that. But this is the year where George Russell has to prove himself. Be like, no, Toto, that's me. You don't need to look for another Lewis Hamilton. I am the next Lewis Hamilton. Don't look for some random people. That's me. Look at me. Say Kimi Antonelli steps in the car. Hey, I'll slap him up for you. That'll be my job. Don't look at him as your primary driver. Look at me. He has to assert dominance against Lewis Hamilton this year. Score more points, out-qualify him, out-race him, everything that he can to beat him. And honestly, so far, he's doing an alright job at that. Because say a championship does brew up for Mercedes in the next couple of years, he wants to be at the front. He wants to be the main guy of the team. Everyone looks at him. George Russell, you reckon you can win this year? He'll be like, yeah, of course I can. But say he doesn't assert the dominance and someone else steps in and he's like, hey, get out of the way, Russell. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say, right? Fallen from grace, Daniel Ricciardo. Now, I'm not quite sure how he ended up at this. Daniel Ricciardo was once a feared opponent in any realm in the entire universe. Everyone was trembling when you heard the name, Daniel Ricciardo. Back then, his name resembled a lion, but now you hear the name and it's like a little kitty. What damage is he gonna do? He's not even gonna scratch you, he doesn't have any claws. He is gonna do niche. This year, compared to his much less experienced teammate Yuki Tsunoda, he is awful. The time where Yuki Tsunoda is pretty much scoring every single race, Daniel Ricciardo can't score a point. This year, his sole and main focus should be to match Yuki Tsunoda. Heck, from the start of the year, he should be beating him every quali session, every race session. That was what was expected of him. He could be the next Red Bull driver. But no, at the moment, he has to start matching Yuki and eventually progressing to be beating him. Otherwise, I'm sad to say, but for the second time, his career will end by a much younger driver to him. And honestly, if he can't do that, I'd retire. Save the emotional damage, save all of the comments and everything. Just, humbly just walk away before anything. Does he really deserve the contract, Sergio Perez? News has recently broke out that Sergio Perez, the Sergio Perez that we all know. Yeah, that guy. He has just signed a 2-year extension contract with Red Bull. There's not much pressure on him anymore. He has that contract in the bag. No matter what he does, he'll be in that Red Bull seat for 2 more years. And does he deserve it? You tell me. But the thing that he has to deliver to Red Bull this year is definitely to not bin the car, to not spin the car, and to actually bring the car to the finish line without crashing it in a somewhat good position. Therefore helping the team score more Constructors points and be able to win that Constructors Championship. Because Ferrari at the moment are 24 points behind. That is like literally nothing in the Constructors Championship. So if he actually wants to win the championship with Red Bull again this year, that's probably what he has to do. Don't be Euro Perez, be rest of the world Perez. Is Fernando Alonso really 60 years old? Prime Fernando Alonso was really feared by anyone. Some say he's still in his prime, some say he's never gotten out of his prime. But one thing for sure is that there's really nothing that Fernando Alonso actually needs to accomplish this year. He is maximizing the car every single weekend. And when the car does potentially develop into an actually good car, there's no doubt about it, he'll be scoring podiums again, potentially will be winning races. But at the moment, there's nothing for him to really do, except for do what he's been doing for the whole of his career, being consistent. I guess there's probably one thing which you should probably keep in mind and, try to do. Not let Lance Stroll get more points than you by the end of the season. There will be memes, there will be everything. Lance Stroll, the Lance Stroll. He got more points than you? And people call you one of the greats of all time. No. That status has been taken away from you. Ripped apart. Go away, Fernando Alonso. No. But let's be real. In a normal world, that won't happen. So he's probably chilling. He'll be 85 and still in the sport. Now, there's no doubt about it that Lance Stroll has literally zero pressure in Formula 1. His dad owns the team, he's going to be there forever, no matter how bad he is. One day in like 50 years, I'll be bored, put on F1, and guess what? There will still be Lance Stroll in the Aston Martin, clocking around 5 seconds a lap slower than everybody. But hey, he'll still be in the team. Now, with that said, is he actually that bad? No. Is he amazing? Absolutely not. But last year, the start of last year was good, and the end of last year was also pretty good. The only thing that he really struggles with is consistency. Fix up your consistency this year, and honestly, you'll be fine. And that is probably what he should be working on in 2024. Being in Formula 1 since 2017, you'd probably think that, hey, he's probably a decently good driver. I mean, Russel, Lando, Leclerc, they all started after him, and they've gone on to be race winners and potentially sometimes contending for the championship. But Lance Stroll is Yuki Tsunoda, the angry chef. Now, Yuki Tsunoda is known for being pretty angry on the radio, swearing pretty much every chance he gets, and not being too friendly on the radio. And guess what? Right now, he probably isn't feeling too calm at the moment, because throughout the season, he's been battering up Daniel Ricciardo. And there was rumors of Daniel Ricciardo taking over from Sergio Perez in the Red Bull. But no, that hasn't happened. Sergio Perez has signed another contract. And Yuki Tsunoda is probably furious more than ever. He thinks that that seat should be mine. I should be in that Red Bull, and I would be challenging Max Verstappen. I would be scoring podiums, scoring wins, when Max Verstappen can't. With all of that fury right now, he should focus on absolutely battering Daniel Ricciardo into the ground, not digging him a 6 feet deep grave. Nobody has time for that because he is just scoring points upon points upon points. Only a 2 feet deep grave, that's all that really matters. And prove to Red Bull that they made a bad decision in hiring Checo Perez for the next 2 years, and prove to them that I was here. You should have been me, because look at me. Daniel Ricciardo, 8-time race winner. No, he isn't that good because I am so much better. Yuki Tsunoda should just keep focusing on pummeling Daniel Ricciardo into non-existence, into retirement, just like Lando Norris did. Then he should get the respect that he deserves and not the, it's just Yuki Tsunoda that he currently has right now. The best unemployed driver in the world. Now, we all know that Carlos Sainz has been dropped from Ferrari, he's been booted out, he's been disrespected, and as a response, he went on an absolute rampage, scoring podiums, so many races this year, and even winning a race.
A Ferrari 1-2, headed by Carlos Sainz.
When Max Verstappen's car blew up. Now, if that's not a statement that Ferrari made the wrong decision, then I don't know what is. But in the last couple races, it seems like the gap Leclerc and Sainz has kind of gotten bigger. Leclerc has been walking away just like he has done pretty much every single season that they've been together. For Carlos Sainz to be wanted in that driver market, wanted by teams, I think he should consistently be aiming to match Leclerc, aiming to be scoring wins, scoring podiums, consistently. Because Red Bull signing Sergio Perez, that's another door closed. That's another door that he won't be able to open for another 2 years. And realistically, he's going to be stuck in a bottom team for the next however many years, and who knows, maybe his career might be over. If he shows to the world for the rest of the season that I'm pretty much similar to Leclerc, then who knows? More doors might open. Pierre Gasly! Alpine is a tractor this year. It is an absolute boat, and it is awful. Plus, Esteban Ocon is kind of hindering the team slightly. This year, Gasly can't really do much. He can't score many podiums, he can't do much with the car, because it is awful. But you know what he can do, and the thing that he probably should be focusing on this year? Building that team back up. He needs to help develop that car as fast as possible. Help the car and the team level up in the field. Help them beat Haas, help them beat RB. Beat Aston Martin and keep on climbing up to the top. That should be Gasly's biggest goal this year. Because does he want to be stuck in another bottom team for the next couple of years? Absolutely not. He left RB to be up at the top, and Alpine promised him that. And so far, they've lied and lied and lied and lied. More than Toto Wolff has, saying to Russell and Hamilton, next year will be our year. And they've been getting progressively worse and worse and worse. Lando Norris.
It's a landmark day for Lando. Lando Norris wins for the first time in Formula One.
Oh, so he can actually win a race. He has stopped all of those hate comments of, oh, Lando, you can't win a race. After Sochi 21, you will never win a race. That was your one opportunity, and you ruined it. But now that he has proven to the world that he can win a race, and McLaren, they're looking like they're an absolute strong contender for the championship. The sole goal of Lando Norris this year is to not just be scoring podiums like he did last year, but to be winning races consistently. And who knows, if he stacks up race win upon race win upon race win, then maybe he might get close to the championship. Maybe he might even win the championship. That should be his sole goal this year. Beating Oscar Piastri, because he's looking a bit closer than he probably should be. Second year in Formula One, Lando Norris probably is shaking in his boots, maybe slightly. But stacking up wins, beating Leclerc, beating Verstappen, that is what he should be doing, and that is currently what is expected of him. Because he's proven that he can, and the car has proven to be up there. And if he doesn't, then who knows, he might be slightly overrated by everybody. Percival Leclerc. Similar to Lando Norris, Charles Leclerc is literally in the exact same boat as Lando Norris. Should be beating his teammate, he's proven that he can win races this year, and the car has proven to be a good car. Potentially faster than McLaren's, potentially even faster than the Red Bulls. And right now, I'd put my money on Charles Leclerc winning the championship. As it currently stands, seems like he has been cooking. He might have kind of frauded the championship battle in 2021, but back then, the team was incompetent, run by clowns and managed by broccolis. Now it's a different story. He's learned his lesson, he had his days of crashing out, and now, yeah, it's your time to shine. He should start winning more races, and he should start fighting for that championship like a fierce competitor that he is. And if he doesn't, call it a failed season for him, because what's the point of being in Ferrari if you can't win a championship? I mean, look at Fernando Alonso. In Ferrari, didn't win a championship, and what came out of it? Sheer and utter sadness. Albon. Alex. Now, it's a shame that by the looks of it, the Williams isn't as strong as it was last year. That might be because it's slightly overweight, and according to Williams, it's losing them like 4 or 5 tenths per lap. Now that really isn't good, but with upgrades that are coming, who knows, that all might change. Alex Albon might be cooking again, and so will Logan Sargeant. The whole master plan of Alex Albon and James Vowles will be coming into fruition. With Alex Albon having that fat contract with Williams, I think he should start aiming to score more points with that car. The car is getting progressively better and better and better, exponentially getting faster every single race weekend, and I think it's time for him to consistently be scoring points again. Score as many points and don't get dropped. The Hulk, the Incredible Hulk, and quite truly, he is the Incredible Hulk. He's already signed a contract with Sauber next year, and there's not much for him to do. Just keep on the trajectory that you're at. Keep on scoring points here and there, beating Kevin Magnussen, and you'll be fine. There's literally nothing for you to do, except for just be who you are at the moment. And that's literally it. Congrats. You've won life. You could maybe score a podium, though. In all the years in Formula 1, you've had 0 silverware. You've had chances, but you failed. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know down in the comments if you think that certain drivers should have different goals for the season. Let me know down in the comments, and whilst you're there, you might as well subscribe and like. Don't know why you wouldn't, because that's kind of a crime if you don't. Anyway, have a safe and fantastic rest of your day. Don't die, because that will be unfortunate and sad, and then you can't watch the videos, and so on and so forth. Anyway, push!
That's all, folks.